Hi, Bad Gamer here. Remember when people said turn-based RPGs were dead? Yeah, well, now Square Enix is out here like, wait, you guys actually like that? Apparently, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 did so well that even Square Enix over here is reconsidering the combat direction for Final Fantasy. And honestly, they should. Because here's the real take. Turn-based combat isn't just making a comeback. It might be the only thing that can actually make gaming playable again for a lot of people. Let's talk about why. Modern action RPGs are, for some people, kind of exhausting. You're controlling a character and a camera. You're dodging, you're parrying, aiming, reacting. Everything you're doing in real time. If you're a gamer, and if you're a seasoned gamer, you don't even notice how much input juggling is happening at the same time. But for newer players, or even people who love games but aren't mechanically trained, I guess it's too much. My girlfriend, for example, bad gamer girl. She loves stories, cool characters, weird worlds, but when she picks up a controller and has to rotate the camera, line the character and move with one stick and look with the other, she kind of taps out, dude, and that's not because she's like terrible at the game, but because the majority of today's games assume that everyone's been doing this for, 15 years. They're built for people who grew up on dual analog sticks and Soulsborne trauma. But guess what doesn't require 15 fingers and a psychic thumb coordination? Turn-based combat. Here's what I'm not trying to say. Turn-based games are easy. No, they're just readable. There's no rush. You can sit back, think, experiment, and when something goes wrong, it's usually because you miscalculated, not because you missed a dodge roll by half a frame or something. Games like Persona 5, Metaphor ReFantazio, which I am playing right now, usually every night before I'm going to sleep, or obvi Clair Obscur, okay? These aren't simple. You're juggling buffs, debuffs, enemy weaknesses, turn economy, team synergies, okay? The difference is you have time. Turn-based combat respects the player who wants to think, not just react. And for people coming into gaming or returning to it after a longer break, that's massive. It's the same reason chess has lasted for centuries. It doesn't need reflexes to be fun. It just needs your brain. Now, layer this on top of something we don't talk about enough. Gaming is competing with TikTok and YouTube and all these platforms, and it's losing attention spans very fast. People don't want to sit through a 45-minute tutorial anymore, They want something that they can play from the couch, pause and walk away from, watch like a show if they don't feel like playing. And once again, turn-based wins here. It's passive friendly. You don't need laser focus. It's a genre that lets you watch, think, snack, vibe. That's why people love watching streams or stream Persona. That's why Baldur's Gate 3 became a phenomenon. They're watchable and playable at the same time. We're in the era of soft attention gaming, and turn-based is uniquely built for it, if you ask me. Again, look at the trends. Expedition 33 comes out and Square Enix is suddenly saying, we might bring back turn-based. Persona 3 Reload sold over 1 million copies in a week. Metaphor ReFantazio is literally trending more than 80% of the action titles, especially when it was released. And the crazy part, most of these games, they aren't even reinventing the genre. They're just making it look pretty good and feel good, and just making them work in 2025. The demand is definitely there. The audience is bigger than developers actually thought. And players? Players are hungry, man. Players are hungry for something different. I'll be honest. I used to ignore turn-based games for like ever. Didn't grow up with them, Final Fantasy, I always thought, meh. I wanted my my slash-ins and my third-person action. But then Baldur's Gate 3 dropped, and I was like, wait, that's kind of fire, okay? Then Clair Obscur, obviously, now Metaphor, and I'm literally debating buying Persona 5 on the Switch just to keep the train rolling, So yeah, I'm not a genre veteran. I am a new convert, and I'm telling you, there's something special here. If devs leaned into this, not as a retro gimmick, but as a gateway for new players, they'd probably open up like a whole new market, especially with how bloated and samey third-person action games are getting right now. So yeah, maybe turn-based isn't the past. Maybe it's the genre we forgot about in the chase for realism and spectacle. And maybe now, with the success of games like Clair Obscur and BG3 and Persona and so on, the industry's waking up to the idea that not everyone wants to thumb gymnastics just to play a good story. Turn-based combat is the future. Sounds like a meme, but what if it's not? Let me know in the comments. Are you a turn-based gang? Okay, did a specific game convert you? Or do you still think menus are for cowards? Either way, I'll be over here buying Persona and pretending I've been into this genre since the PS2 days. Like always, stay sharp gamers and button mash responsibly. Bad Gamer out.